So those 40K media critique videos popped off, but there was a few comments that were basically trying to apply real-world science to Warhammer 40K. But I want to remind everybody about something about 40K. It is fiction. Science fiction, if one would say. More fantasy than science. You cannot apply real-world science to Warhammer 40K. If you applied real-world science to Warhammer 40K, 99% of all the stuff within it wouldn't work. For example, the Baneblade, the super tank of the Imperial Guard, would literally collapse under its own weight. And that's only going into the structural issues of that tank. God forbid you fire the damn thing. The Space Marines, the poster boys of 40K, are not possible in any way, shape, or form. Because in order to make these guys, the Emperor had to steal powers from eldritch beings beyond our comprehension, create 20 Primarchs, 20 super soldier individuals, from his DNA, the DNA of a guy who was possessed by 1,000 dead shamans, and an immortal by the name of Erda, who donated her eggs, and the only reason he had to make the Space Marines is because those 20 Primarchs got shunted off into space through a demonic portal. Which then he used whatever DNA templates were left to make the Space Marines. Tell me where in any of that science makes sense. As well, it is not physically possible for humans to spit acid or to be able to do that, even with surgeries. But why do people keep trying to bring real-world science into 40K? Because if they don't do that, they don't have an argument to stand on, even though that argument has no water. It all comes back to useless nitpicking. And even then, the arguments that are brought up are debunked science anyway. Women can't be custodians, they're weaker than men. Despite the fact that that's flawed science and it works on a person-by-person basis, there are plenty of women who are just naturally stronger than the opposite sex. But even in 40K, that argument doesn't hold water because it's science fiction. The Emperor took the same eldritch power from the Chaos Gods, not just to make the Primarchs, but also to make the Custodes. And none of the books have given us any hint or detail about how the Custodes go about recruiting young kids into their order. Because all these books are written from a perspective of a scribe writing it down as propaganda for you to read. And yeah, a scribe is not going to know the inner workings of the Adeptus Custodes because it's a secret. So you can't bring real-world science into a universe that kicked it in the teeth and called it a bitch.